We have a function celebrating the rebuilding of the Tharwa Bridge. So, as you can see, we've set the bridge up and we're going to have a feast. Well, I'm not. I'm going to give people food and they're going to eat.
When the road closed, when the bridge closed because of the structural issues of it, we were a bit concerned about it all. But since ACT Roads and everybody else has joined forces now to get the bridge to actually become operational again, and they've done it up in such a beautiful way, we thought what better way to celebrate that than to actually ask permission to shut it down and have a lunch on the bridge.
Well, today is the completion of the conservation of Tharwa Bridge, 5 years after it started, and probably more like 10 years after the debate about whether you should conserve the bridge or not started. So I mean, it's good to see the end of the project, and we're here today celebrating it from a community point of view.
What a day, what a celebration. My name is Peter Gullett and my job is to thank you all so much for joining us to celebrate the restoration of this magnificent old bridge. We're delighted today that the Chief Minister could join us, and the more so because she was part of a government that committed funds to the bridge's restoration. Katie's old boss, John Stanhope, can't be here today, but he has our enduring gratitude for the decision he made in 2008 to commit funds to its restoration. Many others made a real difference in convincing government that the bridge was worth fixing as against replacing. Engineers, retired bureaucrats, and all sorts of people with a connection or interest in the bridge added to the enthusiastic local support that has resulted in this wonderful old structure above us being given a new life.
I grew up here on a farm, and so the bridge has been a sort of quite an important feature in my life from the point of view of getting toing and froing across it, but also its sort of unusual and beautiful form is, like a lot of other people, it's something I'm very fond of.
The bridge, which was opened in March 1895, provided a vital link for people west of the Murrumbidgee. We know what an event that was because the Queanbeyan Age at the time reported 1,000 people right here at the opening.
That question actually divided the community because there were people who said, beauty, let's get rid of the Tharwa Bridge altogether and put the concrete one on, make it dual lane, no load limit, and then, you know, nothing, we won't ever have a problem about getting into Canberra ever again. And a lot of people said, but then we're going to lose the heritage of the Tharwa Bridge. So, I mean, I just think that the work of the ACT Roads and the government to be able to now get this bridge up to a standard where it can take a heavy truck and a heavy load of 30 tonnes is just great, you know, because we've still got the heritage of the old bridge and now we've got a very usable bridge that covers the whole transport industry.
Lisa and Tim haven't turned up.
Oh, Tim's
They're down there.
Okay. Who they come? No, that's Tim.
Well, Mandy and Mandy's married to a Curtis and I'm married to a Gregory, and we're both married pioneer families, of which the Gregorys and Curtises are related on several levels. We knew blood. We had to be introduced, you know, to stop all the... They could get into town, so they were able to bring, you know,
extras out.
Fine, beautiful, fine women like ourselves. Lonigan.
Unstamped, but do you need those?
No, you can keep those going.
Oh, good, thanks.
As memorabilia. We're in for a good day.
Matthew and Kelvin are both 6th generation in the area, and then our children will then be the 7th generation, and we all still live here, farm the land that was originally farmed by the families back at settlement. I've got extra things. I think there were certainly people that didn't want the refurbishment, but I think when you look at what we've got, those that didn't want it are now glad that we did fight and get it done. Yeah, because when you look at it, it's such a significant structure, and you know, where else can you see this? You come over the bridge and you feel you're home. Yeah, you sort of drive home and go, yep, leave all the town worries behind.
To actually be able to walk along the bridge without the fear of a car coming along, because there are little pockets there where you can, you know, stop and look at the river and then look at the bridge and all that. But when you're doing that, when you've got cars still driving over the bridge, it does get a bit nerve-wracking. But, you know, today, for example, people have been able to traverse the whole length of the bridge and stop and look at the river and look at the surrounds and just look at how they built the bridge, and it's just terrific, you know, it's really good.
Well, Greg Lonigan rang us and said, we want a local girl to do a local gig. And he did. And so it's been really lovely being involved in it. I mean, it's special, I suppose, for me. Maybe not so for Peter, but it is for me. It's lovely coming back here. I was telling Kazzy, we used to have funny, my sister and I used to have competitions dropping things off the bridge, like stick boats and things. So it's really lovely, and it's lovely seeing it being utilised in such a beautiful way. Like, I've worked for 20 years doing this, and I probably haven't seen anything quite as
unique.
Special.
We've never done an event like this.
But we're always happy to feed people. It makes me happy.
We've got a lot of food left over, and we think that...
No, we don't.
Oh, the Lions Club filled everyone up on a few hot dogs beforehand.
No, they didn't.
The last people we thought we'd be in competition against is the Lions Club.
I was heartbroken when the school closed. I went to the school and it was really sad. I find it sad that, you know, beautiful places and pieces of history aren't retained. So it's really special to me that this bridge is here. It's a lovely bridge, it's iconic for this town, and it's special. Yeah, so it's lovely to see it being restored so perfectly.
I think it's fantastic. I think it's been done correctly. It's retained its character, being still single lane. I mean, that mightn't be what everybody sort of wanted, but it's still the Tharwa Bridge. For all intentional purposes, it's fantastic and is doing everything we want to do, and it doesn't go clickety-clack anymore, which I don't really miss, I must say.
Using a single lane bridge is a matter of exercising courtesy. That's all it is.
And you can wave to people.
And you thank them for stopping when you're on the bridge.
Well, I think it brought a lot of people together to have them fighting for the bridge, especially the trauma that you can see with the people living further south, where they had to go a long way just to maybe drop the kids off to school and everything. So it was a very, very big inconvenience over a long time, which is very sad. And so fighting for the bridge was well worth it. Anything you could do to try and get it open in the first place, and certainly to get it restored back the way it looked like before, was fantastic.
You know, like you had the people on the west side of the Murrumbidgee and the east side of the Murrumbidgee, and they did a lot of travelling across the river with livestock and this sort of thing, and I think it was very important for the community way back 150 years ago. Okay.
And you can't buy history. The restoration of this bridge brings us into line with the history of the place, and it will remain here for at least 100 years, and it'll be an icon then, 200 years old. Wonderful. It's just a wonderful thing.
It's brilliant. How often do you get to have lunch on the Tharwa Bridge with all your friends to be part of such a community as well? I think I've heard that a lot today. Everybody's been saying that. It's not every day you get to do such a thing like this.
I think it's been a good thing, really. I think it's sort of galvanised people into a sort of a common cause and brought out those community values that you know, people so often say don't exist anymore. So yeah, I think it's been a positive thing, the whole thing. Yeah.
My name's Brian Reid. I'm here to enjoy this magnificent day on our famous old bridge, the Tharwa Bridge. My property is just opposite here. I was born here in the Nace area, went to school at Tharwa, so this community means a lot to me, and certainly the bridge does too. I'd now like to introduce you to some of my other family members, and we'll move over to Pat Jeffrey. And Pat, if you'd like to introduce yourself and say a few words.
How you going?
Your involvement with Tharwa?
Patrick Jeffrey from Tharwa originally. My father and I worked on the roads. My father worked on this bridge 76 years ago when they did the concrete piers. And we've been involved in ACT roads for, the family's been since 1920.
Jeff Thompson?
Jeff Thompson, my family came from Tharwa originally. My father was a ranger here for the best part of 40 years. Family was here for many years before that. Had a lot of property up around Mount Tennant, and just most of the family moved from here after most of the family died.
Morris Jeffrey, Pat's brother.
Hi, I'm Pat's brother, and we lived here for years, and we come up from Bateman Bay today to have a good day, good turnout. Thank you.
And Val Jeffrey, the Lord Mayor of Tharwa. What do you think of the day today? We've been struggling with the weather. We've had all sorts of worries, but it's turned out pretty good. What do you think, Dorothy?
I quite agree with you. It's been a wonderful day, and to think that everybody can sit on the bridge after so many years without the bridge is wonderful.
These hills here eventually will be all national parks, I imagine, someday, and what a magnificent gateway to the national park and have this heritage, this bridge. And we're so excited that the Stanhope government was able to put the funds aside and restore this magnificent bridge.
It's Tharwa. It's definitely what makes Tharwa. I think without it, the prominent white structure, it just wouldn't be the same.
I know a lot of people over here at Tharwa, and they treat Tharwa as the place where I want to go when I need friendship and everything, and the bridge is the main access.
Eventually, of course, you know, we're probably going to see a concrete bridge, and when that happens, I mean, you know, I'm going to be a fairly old man when that happens in 60 years' time, but I'm hoping that the generation of kids that we've seen playing around here today and all that sort of stuff will still say to themselves, well, this is the iconic Tharwa Bridge. Can we leave it there? Put the concrete bridge somewhere else and just have that as, you know, a pedestrian thing and close it to the traffic. At least then Tharwa's still got the Tharwa Bridge. You know, that's what I'm sort of hoping, but whether it does happen or not, who really knows?
Personally, it's the satisfaction of completing a project that had a lot of complexities. At some point in time, it might not have happened, but with a range of support and some important decisions, eventually got funded and was able to be progressed.
So the old bridge is pretty important now, you know, like, and just what they've done is terrific, you know, it's really good.